This is the 2021 Porsche Taycan 4 Cross Turismo, and in this video we're going to look at all of the driving impressions from my 72 hours that I got to spend with this wonderful car. Are you guys ready? Before we get into all of the driving dynamics, I would like to give you guys a few stats on this wonderful car. So right off the bat, 0 to 100 happens in 5.1 seconds. Now that's with launch control enabled. So yes, this car does have launch control. So that's pretty quick. The whole motor produces 469 horsepower, and that is with overboost. Still though, 469, that is an amazing amount of horsepower going to all four wheels, because this is a four-wheel drive architecture. So again, wonderful power delivery. It works really well. All right, and then all of those horses project this car into the stratosphere, basically. 220 kilometers per hour top speed for the base version, like this one, which is pretty respectable. And it's funny because there's a sticker here that says you shouldn't be going over 210. So there are some limits put in place, and Porsche doesn't want you to go over those limits. Now, what about charging? So if you're going to go to a DC fast charger like Electrify Canada, you can charge this car from 5% to 80% in about 22 minutes, which, based on what I've seen and on my own calculations with Teslas, for example, that is a pretty respectable number, I do have to say. So real world scenario, obviously things may be a little bit different due to the temperature and so forth, but if we can charge this car within half an hour from 5 to 80, even in the dead of winter, I think Porsche is doing an amazing job with this Taycan. So you guys got to think that this has a huge battery. So having that charge go so quick is simply amazing. So overall, I think it is a formidable package, and it goes up against, you know, the Tesla Model S Plaid, for example, or any of the other, you know, Model S offerings from Tesla. So if you're in market for that car, have a look at the Porsche Taycan 4 Cross Turismo as well. And if you don't like the Cross Turismo, well, Porsche has you covered with the regular Taycan as well, that you know, some people might prefer. The last few days that I had it with the Taycan, the weather has been horrible. It has been raining all the time, so I wasn't able to push this car as much as I wanted to. But still, looking at the way it drives in the wet tells me that obviously in the dry we're going to get a much better experience. Obviously the four-wheel drive system that is present on this vehicle, it's amazing. So you've got, you know, front and back motors, as it usually is with four-wheel drive electric vehicles. So, you know, that helps traction tremendously. So here we are in Anmore, British Columbia, Canada. This is as close to a mountain road that I can get to, close to where I live. So there's a few twisty bits coming up. But it's just a nice place to see how this car drives in a real world scenario. Because most cars like this, they do very well when you are taking it to a track, when you're pushing it, and especially this one with 21-inch rims, right? You'd expect their ride quality to suffer. But when we are talking about ride quality in this vehicle, you also have to think about the air suspension that is present here. Not only is it adjustable, but it also provides superior ride quality, I would have to say. The whole experience is very smooth, and unless you're driving over huge bumps, you're not going to feel it. And this really amazed me, because some you know, sports-centric vehicles, you really do feel the suspension when you're going over bumps, and it's really not compliant. It shakes the car, and it kind of gets you out of that zone. So definitely Porsche with the Taycan 4 Cross Turismo did a wonderful job making sure that the ride quality is as good as it can be, and especially on 21-inch rims. So I can only imagine how good it can be with the smaller wheels and tires that they have on offer that also maximize range, which is, you know, with an electric car, super important. I'm not sure how efficient this tire and wheel combo is, because I haven't done a range test, but I would have to say that, you know, it's not as good as what you would get with aero wheels. Perhaps in the future, maybe in the summer, I can take the Taycan and do a little bit of a deeper dive into the vehicle and see how it handles on longer term trips. You know, is this a viable car to take on road trips, for example? Right? We don't know that. I would say yes, with the charging infrastructure, you know, it would be a viable thing to do. Just push it a little bit. Alright, there's a school zone, so we slow down to 30. So yeah, overall, I think, you know, you do have that power that comes from an electric car. It's there for you when you need it. And now we're basically in normal mode, so I'm not even talking about how good it can be when you're, you know, putting that into Sport Plus, for example, and you're trying out launch control and then doing all of those things. So I would say overall, the ride is super compliant, and I really like it. It hugs corners quite well. So yeah, Porsche did a wonderful job here, I think, with this car. Now, you guys are probably wondering, how are the seats? Are they comfortable? They look comfortable, but are they really comfortable? And I have to say that yes, they are quite comfortable. They hug you, so there's good bolstering on both sides. So when you're going around tight corners, like the one coming up here, for example, you definitely feel like you're in control. The steering is super precise and allows you to really push the car around these corners. It just goes where you want it to go. And I think in a performance car, that is super important. But this is not just a performance car, because this is a car that you can use for your daily outdoor activities even, right? This is a station wagon, for the lack of a better word. I know that a lot of people are put off by this, but Europe has a fascination with hot station wagons. BMW has them, Mercedes-Benz has them, and now Porsche has it with the Taycan 4 Cross Turismo. Alright, let's get into some windy bits here, guys. So, as you guys can see, it's just hugging the road, and it's wonderful. It's super wonderful to drive this car. And again, wherever I point the wheels, that's where I'm going. I'm super confident that I'm going to stay on the road, especially a road like this. It's very misty today. Very nice though. Really like it. You know, I keep being blown away by the driving dynamics here, because it is a big car. And you got to think that we have a huge battery underneath us, which adds to a lot of weight. So I was thinking that there's going to be a lot of oversteer, because, you know, the momentum around the corners would push the car away from the side, and, you know, it wouldn't be as good as it could be. But honestly, that isn't the case. It rides beautifully around these corners here. and the throttle is really, really responsive. And you see, we're going over bumps here. This road, it's not exactly smooth, but it's doing a wonderful job absorbing all of these bumps and making sure that I stay on the road. So it's not just a straight line queen. It's also a car that you can take on the twisted bits and have a bunch of fun doing it. Those were my driving impressions with the 2021 Porsche Taycan 4 Cross Turismo. In the next video, I'm going to have a look at the ambient lighting that is in this car, because I think it does elevate it even more. And when you're driving at night, as you most often do, that's something that I think you guys should have a look at. And then the final video in the Taycan Cross Turismo series is going to be my what worked and what didn't video. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I really liked about the car and some things that I think Porsche should be looking at improving in the future. So, thank you again for watching, guys. I appreciate the support. Without your views, likes, comments, I wouldn't be able to drive cars like this, and I'm really humbled that I'm able to sit behind the wheel of such an amazing car like the Porsche Taycan 4 Cross Turismo. And I hope to drive even more electric cars in the future and bring you even more reviews, driving impressions, and all that other good stuff. So thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful day, take care, and see you on the next one.